These are the Black Swallowtails. They have eaten a lot of the food that I gave to them yesterday. I am upgrading them to a real enclosure. Look at how many caterpillars are on that flower. They really like these flowers. There's only 2 on that flower and 2 on this flower. One on this one. Nobody on that one. Three caterpillars on here. Three caterpillars on here. So I am putting the branches and flowers off to one side because there are caterpillars on the sides of this enclosure. I see 3 of them on the sides, which means I will have to put the plastic box that they're on in that enclosure. Oh, this little one's brown. And then there's a small one up there. This one's brown as well. Look at the size difference between these guys. I just want to point out that this enclosure looks filthy, but all of that dirty looking stuff is underneath in there. It's not on or actually in the plastic box. I'm just having to be careful where I pick up these pieces and branches and flowers to make sure that I don't accidentally squash a caterpillar, because some of them are so tiny. Okay, so there's still an egg on this one. What I've noticed is that these guys will eat around an egg when they come across it, which is interesting because monarchs will just eat the egg. But these guys seem to be a little nicer and they eat around the egg. As these guys get bigger, there is still an egg in there also. It's a very pale green and perfectly round. As these guys get bigger, I will have to upgrade their enclosure again because there are far too many caterpillars in here to have that many, not adult, but that many large caterpillars in this small enclosure. So I'm just looking in here because, yeah, and I see an egg right down here. Try to show it to you. I'm just kind of pushing some of the frass out of the way. I don't want to throw away any eggs, especially one that's developing like this one is. Actually, I see two right down there. I'll point it out with my scissors. See this one right here, and it has that swirl, and then there's one right here that also has that swirl. So sometimes I can very gently grab them with my fingers. Sometimes I can't, and I'll have to kind of roll them into my hand from the paper towel, which is probably what I'm going to have to do. Okay, so I think I got all of the eggs off of this old paper towel. All I am seeing now are pieces of food and frass and some tiny, shiny face caps. Like there and right there. Another face cap right there and right there. So a lot of molting was happening. And I'll show you the eggs. I found 6 eggs. They're all developing nicely. They look perfect. So I put the plastic box that was their old enclosure in the new enclosure. And I'm going to start taking some food out and feeding them. I'm putting some of the food so that it overlaps into the plastic box. I don't need this big long stem because they won't eat the stems, but they do really love the flowers. They mostly eat these fine green leaves here at the end. So I'm gonna, I think, put it on all of these guys since they are all on the flower. My yard has a lot of Queen Anne's lace, so I've been purposely slacking off on my mowing duties because I need that Queen Anne's lace to feed these guys. Queen Anne's lace is the only wild growing host plant for black swallowtails in my area, which is Massachusetts. So this was a very young Queen Anne's lace plant, and you can see the root right here, which smells like a carrot and looks like a very small carrot, because Queen Anne's lace is called wild carrot. So they won't eat the root. So I'm just removing the leafy greens to put in here for them. There was an ant. Okay, these guys, there's another ant up here. These guys have plenty of food now, and they're in a nice big enclosure. Well, big compared to their last one anyway.